Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Podcast Juice. My name is Michael Dean. We over here working it like a job. And today we are finally, I am just losing my voice. We are finally going to review Zack Snyder's Justice League. Man, you already know we've been talking about this movie for weeks, for months, for years. It is finally here. Can't wait to talk about it. Joining me today to talk about this, we have a special guest, Violet Brown. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing beautiful. I am ready to talk about the new gods, as they like to say. Also, Mr. Ant Pooh. Sir, how are you?
I'm doing lovely, quite lovely, despite the clowning from Mr. Podcast, Chief Podcast Officer. But that's okay. I got some for him at some point. Receipts will be dealt.
Wow. I know the listeners are like, what is he talking about?
See,
Becoming
you
very
know
aggressive. Is he threatening Michael? I don't know. But nonetheless, that's okay. It's okay. Also joining us, Mr. Big Sexy and Sack. Sir, how are you?
I am doing well. Got an update on my Eddie Van Halen guitar. I will be here on April 1st.
All right. And so we're going to sit here. We're going to talk about Justice League. First, I will tell you, we're going to do a non-spoiler review first. So if you have not had a chance to watch this movie, it's going to be okay. We're not going to spoil it in this first section. But then after that, we're going heavily spoiler conversation. So we'll give you full warning before that. So there you go. Now, we are missing one person who would love to be on here. I don't know if he says he's too busy, but Q Storm is not here. He is currently, as we are recording, in the Discord chat shitting on the movie. But that's another thing. That's another thing. Just throwing that out there.
Also, in other words, it's a regular Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just say Q is doing what Q does best. So there you go.
Gotcha.
All right.
Mikey from Life Cereal.
Yes. So let's get into this Justice League. I got a lot to say. But first, I'm going to let ladies first, man. We're going to roll out the red carpet for Violet. Violet, what did you think of Justice League? And before you go into that also, did you see the 2017 Joss Whedon version of Justice League?
I did. I actually saw it at the theater, and I remember because it was my birthday, and I have a really hard time with Superman dying. Even though I know he comes back, it was just a bad time for childhood heroes to be dying. I saw them both. I'm going to do my very, very best not to spoil anything. I will just say that I thought there were some really important elements to the comic that were included in this version, and I liked the way that they were included. I felt like that first version, and actually I went back and watched it again just to make sure, I was on point with it. And there were a lot of things that didn't exactly make sense. Like if you know the comic, you will know why some stuff was happening, but it just kind of zoomed to the next thing and it wasn't really clear why. I feel like this movie made it more clear for people who wouldn't already know what was going on. That's all I got without spoiling anything.
Okay, and what did you think of the movie? Remind me?
I liked it. I liked it. I thought it was. I thought it made much more sense than the 2017 version.
Okay, all right. Big Sexy, and you're a comic historian. And did you see their Joss Whedon version as well?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Well, with all of that context, what did you think of Zack Snyder's Justice League?
DC Comics and DC Entertainment need to lose Joss Whedon's number. That's what I think.
Agreed.
Zack did the damn thing. Whedon ain't even close. I'm looking at his filmography now. I don't like anything he's ever done. There it is. I said it. Zack came in, and I do believe Zack did 302 and Watchmen. Mm-hmm. So you could see that sensibility he brought to it. He knocked it out of the park. This was a great film. Now, granted, the length is heavy, but it moves so seamlessly. It's really well done. Hats off to Zack. Joss, go find another line of work. That's it.
Okay. And Pooh, what'd you think of the movie?
Yes, I saw it, and it is a triple indictment actually maybe a quadruple indictment of course, Joss Whedon. I forget the Asian guy's name that was the head of Warner Brothers that said, creativity be damned. It's a business. Let me get that bonus. Joss Jeff Johns and Warner Brothers Studio as a whole. What I'm just really curious as to how they saw Joss's finished product and said, you know what, that's good enough. That's good enough. So it's much better and it's more cohesive. And guess what? Minorities and women actually get an opportunity to shine in this film.
Yeah, I
Who
wasn't
would
gonna
have
talk about
thunk?
that yet.
No, we talking about all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm gonna wait because I have very specific things to say. But
Okay.
I agree with both of the gentlemen. My understanding is I know some of the background, but they wanted it to be lighter and more humorous, which would be more like Avengers. When it's DC is not light, it's not Marvel. It is what it is. But yeah, I agree with them. And the thing about the minorities, I'll hold off on that because I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
All right. Ampu, are you still going?
Oh, no, I was done.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, my thought on the movie. Now, y'all know I'm a big super fan of Batman v Superman. That is my favorite comic book movie. I love it. I watch that movie damn near at least once a week, like parts of it or the whole thing. I just think it's a brilliant movie. I'm a big Zack fan. I love Man of Steel. So for me, watching this movie, and I watched the Joss Whedon version multiple times. I own that movie. I've seen that with my daughter. We we have certain favorite parts. We just recite them and play it out. So I know that movie like the back of my hand. I wanted to love that movie so bad when it came out because I love that take on these heroes. But I watching it, I was like, God, they shitted on Zack. Like you can tell they were changing stuff. The tone was different. Characters were doing goofy shit.
Correct.
So I've been waiting on this movie for years. Let me start first to say that what I thought of this movie, I love the movie. That's an easy thing to say. This movie is a continuation of Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and it has the same tone and it flows with that. To me, this is a great trilogy. It works great to me. I love everything in it. Zack's visuals are on point as usual, but even just more so here. The decision to play this in this sort of IMAX ratio or aspect ratio on screen, love it. I think it's a bold decision. I think the 4-hour runtime is a bold decision. And I'm going to tell you why. So one, I would say this movie works because it is different from everything else. And what I mean by that is, like the first version of this movie, it was mandated to be a certain time frame because it was the rules that are set from a business perspective to show a movie in the theater. The reason why you want to keep it at a certain time is because they can have multiple showings per day of that movie so they can make money. Those rules define how that movie was made. And a lot of movies, right? That's fine. But because we're in a pandemic, because the theaters are closed, you can throw those rules out of the window, right? Because this is a streaming service, the traditional movie rules don't have to apply here. Now, to a creative person, that should get them to be like, oh, now I can do I can be creative. I can just be free. Like, why do I have to conform to what's the norm? There's no reason to. It doesn't make sense. So here, it can be as long as it needs to be, right? You're at home. You're not forced to sit there and watch it in one sitting if you don't want to. And they put chapters in this to even sort of illustrate that, yeah, you can pause it here or whatever, just like you would normally do any other TV. You're in control. So it being super long, as people are saying, it's not, why shouldn't it be? We're not in the theater. You don't have to think on those rules anymore. There's a different way to be creative. So that also allows them to tell the story in a different way, because now it's like, shit, we can go deep into a character. We're not under the gun. And this movie does that great. So I love this. I think this movie is super creative. I think, to me, this is Zack on his Around the World in a Day. You know, everybody else is loving Thriller and is a Michael Jackson fan and even loves your last work. Great. He's just said, you know what? I'm going to go the other direction. This may not work for everybody, but it's my vision. I'm the artist. So wouldn't you want the artist to do what the artist is feeling and be creative as opposed to our expectations? And I say that with the group of people that I'm with right now. The guy we talk about did his whole career that way, right? He went against the grain even when his own camp was like, dude, you should just stay with Purple Rain. What the fuck are you doing? Nah, I'm going that way. And some people jumped off. Legions of people jumped on. And he built a career off of that. To me, Zack is the same thing. It's like, okay, his movies came out in the height of Marvel. And so we were all like, if it's not like Marvel, it ain't hitting. Which is cool, but that's not art. We can't hold artists to conform to the most popular brand of art at the time, right? We don't want everybody to be Michael Jackson.
Exactly.
We don't want everybody to be Prince. We want you to be the artist. So he came in and at the time, right, it wasn't like Marvel. Some people say, that's too dark, and their minds are thinking, because they're so attracted by this thing, which is great. They want it all to be that way. And some people weren't ready for it. Now, there was a legion of people, and the reason why we get to see this movie, actually, there were fans that was like, yo, I dig this shit. Like, this is some shit. I ain't never seen this. This is a whole different take on it. Great. They were, the great thing was those group of people were so passionate about it. And kind of, again, I'm going back to the Prince analogy. When I talked about Prince earlier, there's people, they into Prince. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just, And this was the same passion. There's people that was into what Zack was doing. They was into what Zack was doing to the point where I'm going online. I'm going to demand they make this movie. And we're going to gravitate together and have our own little celebrations and champion this movie we didn't get to see and keep the pressure on. And and then, society changes. The circumstances changes, the pandemic and technology changes. And Warner's was like, you know what? Let's put this shit out. Let's do this. To me, it would be like the same thing if when we got signed to Times, which was the edited down version of what Prince wanted to do. It was still great. But what if Warner Brothers would have came back to Prince a couple years later and said, you know what, the fans have been on our ass. I'm going to let you put out Crystal Ball, goddammit. And here's some more money to even do it even more crazy. It can be seven albums in that bitch or whatever. It's, if it was streaming or something, like, well, we don't have to sell them. They're going to listen to it for free anyway. You know what I mean? We're going to get a subscription. So this is the same type. This movie sort of heralds a new direction for movies, in my opinion, where we don't have to be conformed to the rules of the movie theater, and that business does not have to dictate what the story says. So that means hopefully this opens the door for other movies. Doesn't have to be science fiction. It could be whatever. It was like, you know what? We can have a long ass running movie. As long as it's good, people will watch it. They're not, people say, well, can people handle that? It seems as if we can. I think you don't want to underestimate your audience. Some people can handle it. And the great thing is it's not being dictated by the box office, right? Oh, how much money does it make opening day? Well, those rules are out the door, remember? So we can just judge it on, did you like that shit? And let the business people worry about, did people sign up to watch it? That's not our concern. We just can be concerned about the art. So this movie wins on many levels to me, even just from what we see, but what it could mean for other artists and sticking to your guns. And they let they let Zack go ham on it. Like, there's a lot of slow-mo and there's all this and the aspect ratio. Yeah, the aspect ratio is basically him saying, I'm gonna put the shit in black and white. Which he literally wants to put it in black and white too, right? Like they haven't put that version out, but that just goes to show, like, he's just enough of an artist to be like, well, nah, this is what I want to do. You coming to watch my shit. I'm not coming to watch your movie, so you don't have to like it. But here's what I created. There'll be some people that are gonna love it, some that are not. I say all that to say, I just had to throw that into context. But in terms of the movie itself, I think the movie works brilliantly with what he did. To me, it's like the Lord of the Rings mixed with like The Godfather or The Irishman in terms of length and just like the scope of it, and let it go deep into the characters. And we've never seen a superhero movie like that before. This is probably the first one that's so deep into it and goes all in, but it flows perfectly. I didn't ever feel like it got slow. The first time I watched the movie, I watched it in parts. I watched like 2 hours, and then I came back and watched the other 2 hours the next morning. I've seen the movie twice. I want to watch it again. There's so many little things I'm noticing now. The third time around, I was like, oh, I didn't catch that part. Okay. There's so many callbacks to the other movies in this, done in very sly ways, which I think is very interesting. There's a lot in here. There's a lot of, we're going to get into the spoiler. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that made me cry, which I'll get into, which I had not expected at all. So I think the movie is brilliant. It's not perfect, but man, what an experience. You know, I think it's the first kind of blockbuster movie that you can watch at home. Of course, they had Wonder Woman 84, but I think it was the circumstance a little different, but because that was going to be in the theaters. This was not going to be in the theaters at this length. And I just think it's the first time we got to see something that was so big budget and well done, and we got to watch it at home, and we got the pleasure to watch it over and over if you want to. Like, you could come back and rewind it. You didn't get to rewind movies before. You get to rewind this shit. I was rewinding shit back like, oh, shit. Okay. So I love the movie. So at this point, I want to get into spoiler conversations. So if you haven't watched the movie at this point, I would recommend you don't listen to this part. I don't think you should be spoiled by it. You should just enjoy it for yourself first. But with that said, one of the first things I wanted to talk about, and Aunt Pooh mentioned it, was Cyborg. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, you said you don't want to spoil it. I'm like, is it really spoiled? The story is somewhat still the same.
Well, there's things that happen in the story, particularly Cyborg, that was not in the other movie. So we would be spoiling that by talking about that part. And there's other parts that were not in. Again, remember, they only used 10% of the scenes in the first movie versus in here. There's a lot of scenes that are not in that first one. So starting off, I want to start with the Cyborg. We get to see Cyborg's story here. And for me, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't even like that character in the first movie. I just was like, whatever. I was blown away by this. The whole father-son dynamic, for me, that gets me every time in a movie. But when I was watching it here, I was like, what is this? I was like, if I was trying to understand, why would you cut this out? Like, this is the whole sort of heart of the movie. And there was just parts that I had broke down, like the part where they had the football game, and then he notices his dad isn't there in the chair. I was like, okay. But then the next scene, he's in the car with his mom, and he's sort of talking about, his dad not being there. And there's just a quick thing where Cyborg, he turns his head to look to the other window, and he starts crying. And I was like, damn, this dude, he must be in college or something. He's an older, he's not a kid. But it just spoke to me, and like, man, the power of a father and a son's life. I threw me right there. I was like, fuck, man. And he turned back to his mom, and his mom she was a real one. Like, she was, he loves you, and he's caring for you. And then of course the accident happens. But that scene made me tear up, man. I was like, damn, man, this kid is hurting. And then the other part that made me cry was when they come to Star Labs and the alarm is going off, and his dad is like trying to stop the alarm, and the door opens, or elevator or some door opens, and he sees his son walk in with the rest of the Justice League. I felt that scene, because to me, that was like, his dad was always trying to, big up his son and talk him into his greatness, even though his son hated him. And to me, when he saw the son walk through, he was like, this is how I interpret it. He was like, man, okay, you doing your thing. You stepped into your greatness. And he was like, let me cancel what I was about to do. Do your thing, son. And the son just kind of walked through, looked at him, kept moving. And then Cyborg turned back and looked at him. And they just had it. I was just like, man. I felt that, man, because I'm a father. So I was just like, to show the black father who was so strong. And he was doing, man, that fucked me up, man. And then the other part, the deeper part about this movie, and you can see it in all the other movies before it, it's all about the relationships between the father and the son. You know, that was a theme that Zack had in these movies. The first movie, Man of Steel, was all about the father sacrifices, you know, to send his son to a better place. He sent Kal-El to Earth, right? And we saw that whole setup. And then even in the same movie, they show they give him another father figure, and he sacrifices himself again to get his son into a better position. So I was like, okay. And even the next movie, of course, Batman is just dealing with the loss of his parents. He's still like obsessed about it, hurt, blah, 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 blah. And we see it again in this one on multiple fronts, right? We see Cyborg, again, the father sacrifices himself for the betterment, for his son can rise up. And we see even Superman coming back again. And what do they play that gets him to remember and be who he is? They play both of his fathers speaking over him to like, yo, son, you the man, you know, go out there, man. You're great. And in the same way with Flash's dad, right? Again, his dad was sacrificing himself. Yo, stop coming here. Go live your life, son. I'm holding you back. He keeps that theme throughout the whole thing. And even on some sense, you might could say it's the parent thing, because even for Diana, if you pick up on it, she seems to be like a longing, like she got a contact from her mother, you know, so she's got that arrow. And that was that's her mom speaking to her, like, and you can tell, like, almost like she wants to go back there or something. I don't know if she doesn't remember how to get there or something like that, if that was spoken in another movie. But it's just the same sort of theme that he has about the parents and pumping them up, the kids up, and sacrificing for the kids. That type of shit blows me away. Ampu, did you have any thoughts on the Cyborg story?
Yeah, I just overall, and I mentioned it earlier, Joss Whedon is a cold piece of work, and I'm glad he's getting exposed. The story, it was just kind of like, how do you come to the editing bay? That's the best I'll go with. I'm sure someone with more, for better bona fides, can break that down as to exactly what that is, and see what Zack Snyder put together with the story for Cyborg, and said, yeah, let's just cut that all out. We're just going to have him essentially in the background and be essentially a MacGuffin to go from one scene to the next and advance certain plot points, but actually not, give him any character development. It was just baffling. And again, now I did not cry, but I definitely felt something for those characters, Victor and his dad. I'm sorry, his name is escaping me. I'll just call him Scandal's pops. They did a Silas.
How about Dr. Stone? How about that?
Okay, yeah,
or brother from another planet. That's what I always call him.
No, sir.
But that dude is an unsung. Let me just real quick ones. Let's give that. I think his name is Joe Morton.
Joe Morton.
Yeah, Joe Morton.
Let's give Joe Morton his props. He's been in the game. He's been in the most iconic sci-fi type movies forever, and he always shows up, man, and does his thing. Like, I don't know of too many movies that, aside from Brother from Another Planet, that he starred in, but he always plays a very solid, great representation of black men in his movies. And he always playing the dad. Like, of course, Terminator 2. He was doing his thing. And man, that guy's he's always on point, man. So salute to him, man. Oh, okay. That you was gonna go on, Ampu. But imagine Ray Fisher. So, going into this movie, before it came out, there was this whole thing going on with Ray Fisher and Warner Brothers. And, he was saying that there was racism or allegations,
some type of bullying
going on. There was something going on between him, Jeff Johns, and And we did a show about it, and I was saying before, I was like, man, got to play your role right now. You don't have a lot of pull in the game. You're going after these big dudes. You got to have receipts. And now we have seen that whatever the investigation Warner Brothers had, there was some foolishness going on with Josh Whedon, where he's pretty much blackballed from the game, right? He got pulled off of stuff. But then Ray is like, they didn't really do it enough or something. I'm not working with Warner Brothers no more. There's still other people that should be held accountable to this. And you've seen other people come out now against Josh Whedon in terms of like some sexist type stuff. Even Gail Gadot said she was threatened on the set by him. He would ruin her career. What? Yeah, go look it up.
Man, Josh, I will come and see you. All right.
Well, to be fair, even though I hate to do, but we got to be factual. People are reporting that's what happened. Gail Gadot has not stated that, but I believe it. Okay.
Nonetheless, there's been a lot of people coming out on dude. Nonetheless, the game blackballed him out, so they cut ties with him. But my point was to say, imagine you being Ray Fisher, and you just shot this movie that we just saw. Right, the movie's already been shot. The director leaves. And then they bring in Josh Whedon. And then he's like, and Ray has said this, Josh didn't want to talk to him. He didn't want to let him read the script until he talked to him first, right? So you go to meet him, and then you see what the hell they're about to do. We're going to reshoot this movie. And then you're like looking and like, yo, I'm not even hardly in this movie no more. What the fuck, man? And he's like, and you're like, can I ask you some questions about this? And Whedon's like, I don't take questions or comments from the actors. You do what I say. And you're like, huh? Like, bro, I can only imagine, like, he was like, well, damn, I was like, this was going to be my moment. You know what I mean? Now I'm not even in this shit. Now I've signed the contract, so I have to be in it. I can't really, but this is some bullshit. So I can only imagine, like, that was a fuck. And then you see the movie come out, and you see he's, being an asshole on set. I can only imagine, like, that's some shit. Like, god damn. And now we see the movie, how it was originally shot. And you're like, this dude you almost can't really have the story without him. Like, it's just weird to me. Like, God, that had to be something to go through. Another thing that was interesting too, I saw on Twitter, there was the scene where Cyborg gives that single mother all that money. That whole scene where he gave her the money.
That's the part that I cried on. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was heavy. That actress went on Twitter and was like, because she remembers that she shot all this years ago, and she knows she wasn't in the release version. She asked, like, am I in this movie? Did they? And they were like, yes, not only are you in this, but yes, you was this, So it's just stuff like that. It makes you question again, like Josh Whedon, like, why would you cut? That goes into his character. And to me, like Cyborg, I love his character now, because I'm like, when his dad was talking about him and laying it out, was like, son, you can do all these great things and you have all this power. But he was like, but the real challenge, or whatever he said, for you is not that you can do all this shit, is that you don't do it. I was like, damn, that's kind of deep. Like, he's probably could destroy the world if he wanted to. But it's him not doing it. And he has all this power, but he chooses not to use it. And then when he does it, he does it for good. And even just for the littleness of just this one person he saw as he was looking at all this bank stuff. And he saw that one bank account that hardly had any money. And then he took the time to watch her and to see she was a good person. I'm going to give her. So it was interesting to me, like, the Cyborg is actually a super good kid. Like, he's all this power, but it's because he's got good morals and he got good father, family bringing up. He can be trusted to be what he is. Like, I just thought that was incredible to me. That's what, again, that's a part of this movie, when you can take the time to show that. You don't normally get to see a character's arc like that in a movie where it's multiple characters going on. He's not the star per se, but I just thought that was great, man. Just little shit like that. Any other things? We're going to go through a lot, but I don't open it up. Big sexy and things you want to call out that you liked or didn't like.
Well, keeping on Cyborg, again, I have to co-sign a lot what you said. Young Mr. Fisher comes out and talked about this beef with Whedon and Jeff Johns. I don't know Whedon. I know Jeff Johns, so I'm kind of surprised at that. But it seems like it's more Whedon than anything else, and Whedon is an asshole. And I like what he did, what Zack did with that character, really made him integral, really made him fleshed out, to the point where, the people in charge need to say, you know what, whatever this beef was, Whedon is gone, let's move forward with this kid. He was that good. The one thing, and Mike and I talked about this, and I'm being super, super nitpicky. The scene where they introduced the Flash, he comes into the little pet store, he walks by the pretty girl, how you doing, baby? He starts giving her the look, and all of a sudden, then you have her car, she drives off, turns left, and the truck driver, who's not paying attention, stops, short. She hits his truck and goes 10 feet in the air. No.
Actually,
that car wasn't going.
Go rewatch that scene. You will see that her car was actually going pretty fast.
It wasn't going that fast. On the city street, no way.
You're nitpicking, but go ahead.
Of course I'm nitpicking. That's what I do. So for her car to be elevated to that extent, come on now. That's bullshit. But if that's my biggest beef with the movie, which it is, it's really a non-issue. Because everything else they did, they let it all just develop at its own pace. They did everything good. I didn't like the Flash. I'm getting back to the Flash. I don't like how they portrayed him. If they're going to make him that goofy, then make him Wally West. That is not Barry Allen. But again, that's me being nitpicky. But overall, I like that they had the Ben Affleck Batman, and that Batman is, for all of our non-comic book aficionados, is based on the Dark Knight Returns, thus the gray and him being a little more bulky. Superman, the black suit, comes straight from the Death of Superman storyline, which as a comic dork, I freaked out on. Also, Easter egg. The gentleman in the Star Labs, I believe his name is Dr. Choi. Yeah, that's going to be Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Okay. He's going to be Blue Beetle because that's Ryan Choi, the current Blue Beetle. At the end, I didn't care for, and I still don't care for, Jesse Eisenberg's Joker, but they made him a little better now.
You mean Jared Leto? Jared Leto.
That's right. No, I mean Jesse Eisenberg.
Well, Jesse Eisenberg played Lex Luthor, not Joker.
That's what I said. I meant Jared Leto.
Lord.
his Joker, I see it now a little more with what they want to do. Luthor was good, but my guy, Deathstroke, yeah, what it is. And at the end, he's all, look, man, get this handled. And he's like, oh, really? You gonna tell me Batman's identity? Well, let me hit the champagne then. Like, yeah. They have set up the DC universe for several films going forward. They need to write Zack a check and just let him fill in the number. Because now, this film makes DC a player. Now, aside from the couple of Batman films, their whole catalog to me is middle of the road to whack at best. This one, it is not up there with Endgame and Black Panther and Civil War, but it's a player now. DC can do their own thing. They've set it up now, they've set the table, and now they just got to go forward and go ahead and do the damn thing.
All right. I want to, real quick, and I want to go to Violet, but I want to go back to the Flash thing you mentioned. That was the other scene that I actually kind of teared up on as well. Call me corny. I've seen that. That's a lot of the footage in this movie, has leaked throughout the years. Almost to me, it's like a Prince thing to me. There's a lot of leaked songs and stuff. There was a lot of these scenes that had sort of leaked with fans over the years. So I had seen bits and pieces of that scene before, but to just see it all play out, and then when the music kicks in, I don't know. I just thought it was just beautiful because I just saw it as like, he saw this girl, she saw him, and they just had an instant like attraction type thing. And then he's just like being who he is, and then him just doing all of that and just going so fast. And you could see like he really was like like kind of caressing her face and like moving. I was like, this dude is like in love with this chick, but only he can do this. Like this is his moment to just admire her beauty in the midst of freaking madness. I just thought it was just done brilliantly. Like I didn't really care for the Flash character in the first version, but I thought he was perfect here. I thought that scene was lovely. It was almost like a music video or some kind of Hallmark card or something. Like the movie just pauses for a moment and you just slow motion and stuff. I was like, this shit is beautiful, Zach. I was like, he's being indulgent and super long with it, but why not? Like, there's no rules. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. So I just thought that was a beautiful scene. That blew me away. Violet, what were some of the things that you liked, didn't like, or call out stuff?
Going back to Cyborg, I just have to say this, noticing what was taken out and what was put in. So we did not have the Russian family, but we did have Ryan Choi, the Atom. We had Martian Manhunter, and I did notice the General is on Batman versus Superman, so it was good for me to go back because I call him Dresser. I know he has a real name, but to me, he's Dresser from the 5 Heartbeats. I was excited to see him. And then as far as the stuff that you guys were talking about with Cyborg, I don't know. I just feel like there's some real deep stuff there because his character was actually a different person. In the first one, he's basically like a surly teen. You know, he's just got a bad attitude, but for no real reason. And one of the problems that I always have when they put Black characters in a film, but they don't act like Black people, is having someone write it that doesn't know how we act. And what I noticed with this version of it, for instance, you were talking about the scene at the lab when he's breaking in and he sees his dad. They didn't say anything. They did the head nod. And we all know what that head nod means. That was something that I liked. I also like that they brought the mom in and that she held him down at the school like they were trying to get on him and she was, don't come for my baby. I love that kind of stuff.
Yes.
That part of it with him, he was also more knowledgeable. I mean, he is made out of the mother box. Why would he not know anything? And the way they had him in the first one, it was just like, okay, well, I'm going to figure this out as I go. Whereas with this one, he was a dude in charge. Like, okay, the scene where he meets up with Wonder Woman for the first time, he rolls in and he's in he's all metal and he knows who he is and he's talking to her when she talks to him about saving the world, what he said to her. I love that part. I'm not going to repeat it because I don't do that.
Real quick, just to add real quick, you know what they showed? They showed he was a genius already. Exactly. When he was a kid because he was hacking into the systems and stuff. So
exactly. He was a different person. That's what I'm saying is he was somebody that you could look up to and say, all right, then he was a different character because he actually got on my nerves in the first one. Just the way that they had him play because there was no explanation for, okay, so your dad tried to save your life and it didn't go well and this is how you treat. That's basically the way that it came across. But with this one, there's that backstory where he kind of wasn't there for him and his mom always had to do things. And then, this thing happens to him and he's not that happy about the way it turned out, but there's still more of a reason for him to feel so negatively towards his father because where I come from, and I mean people of color, we generally don't like with our parents, just decide we don't like them. Like we're not allowed to do that. There's usually some basis. And even if we don't like them, we're not in their face with, well, you get on my nerves kind of thing. And that's kind of how he was on the first one. This was just more nuanced and he was most of the movie. I'm just like, what's up, Giles? Like, what you trying to do? Because it didn't make sense without him, but he basically was the movie. Like, he made the movie. It made it make sense, but he just brought a whole other thing to it. He was a different character. He was a different character, and I actually greatly appreciated that. I think Joe Morton is Joe Morton. It is what it is. I think that's all I just noticed that all of the minorities are the ones that got, like, all of them there, because there's the Ray Palmer version of the Atom. They had the Ryan Choi version of him, but that's not usually discussed. And then they had the General being that particular version of Martian Manhunter. All of that stuff. I thought all of that stuff was good. Are we talking about other stuff or just the minority stuff?
Anything.
Really?
Because the only other thing I was going to say that was really big to me is why in the world. Everybody knows Superman dies and comes back. Everybody knows that he needs his regenerative suit in order to, after he gets resurrected. Why would you cut that out? It looks cool and all that, but I'm just saying, he's coming back from the dead. Of course he's gonna. I guess I'm saying the things that do cut out don't make sense to me. Like I get you want to kind of change the tone, that's fine. But just straight cutting out things that keep the whole thing true to form, I don't get that. Especially if you understand art, you understand the people that appreciate the art, that's the stuff that they're going to be looking for. I don't understand cutting that kind of stuff out. I really don't.
I wonder if a lot of it was ego or something, because there's big things that were changed and there's little things, like just even little things of dialogue that just seem totally unnecessary. And if you got to think about it, like they had to go back and get the actors back, get all the costumes and the hair and makeup to match the previous footage. And it really be just like maybe a sentence at best. Like it's just a different way to say it. And I was like, why change? There was a lot of stuff, even like simple stuff when Bruce Wayne first goes to Barry's place to meet him. You can see the differences. Like they just have him say things slightly different in the theatrical cut versus this, which I was like, why even go through the problem of changing that? It doesn't change the story. And it's like, why do all that? It almost is like his ego. I was like, I don't want to use his footage, or I'm going to show this part differently. Even another great example, the Wonder Woman intro, like her fight scene at that museum or whatever it was. They edited the hell out of that in the release version. I didn't understand why. Like you cut out the dope parts. Like I don't understand. Like if somebody had an ill ass action scene, and they say, okay, you got to make the movie 2 hours. Okay. Why would you cut the dope parts of the action scene that would be rebel rousing and like would just make it even hit harder? I just didn't understand, like, and the way they cut it. Like now you see she was a complete badass. Like and she was like, and it illustrate like she can move fast too, and she only has like 13 seconds to do this shit. And I was just like, God, this is Wonder Woman right here. I almost was like, I could see why some people are saying they want Zack to do Wonder Woman, because the way he shows Wonder Woman, she's a beast. Like she's killing people. Got the kids right there, smashing dudes' head. She blows that. I assume that dude's body got like blown to bits when she does it. I was like, whoa. And then she turns around and is like, are you guys okay? You can be anything you want to be. I was like, Wonder Woman is cold. Like, God damn. But that was one. I mean, it was great. It was just
I think that's the main thing with it, is that he allowed each one of the characters to really show what they can do. Because again, you have hardcore fans, and it's just like everything else. I like using the Prince analogy because there are people that this is their life. They look at this all the time. They know all the details, and so they expect certain things. But then there are people that could become new, fans, and there are people that could begin to invest their money in it. And if you do it right, you will draw those people in. And the way this was done, it gives people a reason to want to see those other characters in case they want to do, their next film. They're going to be much more interested because they could see, oh, this is the Justice League. So they're like a whole team they all are metahumans. They all have actual skills that do something. And I'm going to tell y'all, I'm a Superman person, but what I liked about this one is that he wasn't the only one that actually could do anything, because the way that they usually do it is kind of like, since he has the abilities, he's usually the one that saves the day. And although he did his part, everybody got to do something. Even old Goofy, this Barry version of Flash, he still ultimately, what they did with him, because one of the things that confused me, I got scared when they were reanimating Superman and the mother boxes fall into the water, and I was like, but I remember that he was supposed to touch it as soon, but it's already in there, and I started getting nervous, like, what's happening? And then the way that he did it, it ended up reversing time. I thought that was really cool. They showed us some things that weren't in the other that would make new people even more interested.
Yeah, he touched into this was it the Speed Force? Just even toward the last battle, like they failed, but he rewinded that shit back.
That was amazing.
I was like, wow.
Exactly.
Yeah, he wasn't even running all goofy like they had him in the other one. Like I didn't understand why he was running. If you go back and look at that,
he was still running a little goofy.
Not like if there's the last scene where he's running at the end and he's doing a super goofy, but it's not like that on this one. He's not running super goofy. His arms aren't all up wild.
I was kind of mad when he fell. I'm not gonna lie. I'm talking about on this.
Right.
I was a little bit mad at him. I mean, I didn't realize he was actually shot. He said, "I got that wind knocked out." I'm thinking, I mean, okay, so breathe and go. But I didn't realize he was actually shot.
Yeah. Batman. I'm talking about Batman. I'm a huge. I love Batman v Superman. Batman was deranged in that movie, and I loved every minute of it. But I thought it was very interesting. We at least got to understand sort of Batman changes in this movie, and he's kind of guilty about the Superman thing. And his character now is like, and I thought it was interesting because you got to see a lot more of him and Alfred kind of going back and forth in this one too. And he was like on some other shit, was like, yeah, I'm not just going to be out on the streets breaking niggas' neck and, killing people. He's like trying to be, the linking people up. And he kept going, you got to have faith, man. Like, I got something to believe in. I got to do something right. And I just thought that was a cool way to sort of change his character from the first one or the second one to this, and how and why he would change. Another thing that I thought was very interesting, the whole part where they bring Superman back and they have that battle at the Monument Park. In the released one, Superman comes to him, grabs him by his face and is like, "Do you bleed?" They have that horrible CGI mouth on Superman. But Josh Whedon, even if he didn't change anything else, the fact that he was okay with having that CGI mustache taken off of Superman and have him in the movie and start the movie like that is so disrespectful.
Why did he do that? I don't understand. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like, just why?
It's just disrespectful. It looks stupid. It's just disrespectful. But in this one, at the end, Superman sees Batman and he's starting to make his way toward him. And now in the original one, Batman had like a backup plan, which is a Batman thing to do. And he had the backup plan that the secret weapon was Lois and was going to bring her to calm Superman down. But in this one, it doesn't play out that way. Like, he's coming to Batman and he starts trying to burn Batman down with a heat vision and shit. I was like, oh shit, what's about to happen? And I love that not Superman, but Lois comes there because they set up in the movie why she would be there. She was going to that park every day, right? Paying homage, going there. She had quit working and all that. So that's why she was coming. And she was coming there to give that up and to finally move forward because Martian Manhunter put her on that path. And so that's why she was in the vicinity and she looked up and saw Clark up in the air, which is a dope shot. And that's why she came. And it's very interesting. It's a callback to Batman v Superman, because in Batman v Superman, when Batman was deranged and trying to kill Superman, who saved Superman at that point? It was Lois. She came in like, no, that was his mother, Martha. And she does the same thing here and saves Batman this time. They reversed it. I thought that was a cool little callback to do that. Like,
I didn't pick up on
saving
that.
Them like that.
So she's Captain Save-A-Ho? That's what you're telling me?
Hey, wow. It goes to show, like they show you also in this movie, that she is the key.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you picked up on that either. When she was at home, they had that pregnancy test in her drawer.
Oh, we saw it.
So I was like, oh, so they're trying to say she might be pregnant? Like, I don't know. A lot of this would be set up for the other movies and stuff, but I was like, okay, wow, very interesting. There's a lot going on in the movie. Like I said, there's a lot of little things they put in there. You remember that part where we saw the nightmare scene? I think it was from Cyborg's point of view, or his, and they showed Superman on the ground, looked like he was holding Lois's body. Charred remains. Yeah. And you saw, Darkseid put his hand on him. Like, okay. And then see how that played out. Man, I don't know. There's just a lot of cool shit in the movie.
Now, since you mentioned Darkseid, I would be remiss if I did not give Joss Whedon a little bit of credit. And what I'm going to give him credit for is that he did a better job of the initial Apocalypse invasion. In his film, he did. Nah. Yes,
in my opinion, he did. Go ahead.
In his film, he had Steppenwolf coming to Earth and being defeated by Earth's heroes. And I thought that made much better sense than having Darkseid. I'm just going to repeat this. Darkseid. Motherfucking Darkseid not only coming to Earth but getting defeated, in my opinion, in a weak manner, and then somehow forgetting, hey, where was that planet that had the anti-life equation? That to me, I'm sorry, Zack, that to me, Joss did it better. Because I just cannot believe Darkseid would have been defeated that easily. And I'm saying that easily because I'm just going based on what they showed us in the film. They showed a short battle. He took one in the shoulder, and then they were like, okay, let's go. Whereas in Joss Whedon's film, the parademons dragged Steppenwolf away like, yeah, you can't win this. So I like that. I like what Josh's edit better. I can't believe I'm giving him credit for that. But for me, and Mark, you got to back me up. Darkseid would not have went down to that crew. But
the thing is, and first of all, I'll have to take my L. It was the Atom. Thank you, Violet, for hitting me with that. I blew it. I kept saying Blue Beetle. But in this version, Darkseid unleashed the Omega beams. There it is. That was what I needed to see. He wins. Zack wins.
I would say it might have been a young Darkseid too when he was fighting those guys.
Exactly.
Originally.
That's what I was thinking. Is that was a younger version of him? Yeah. That exactly.
I guess I'm just saying the character I didn't see wouldn't have went down to that. But if you say it was a younger, then maybe. But I don't know. That it didn't sit right with me. That's the only thing that I will give Joss kudos for over Zack.
Yeah, I have to disagree.
How did you stand to look at that other version of Steppenwolf? That's my whole.
Oh yeah, it was trash compared to this one. This
for
one
real.
I'm just saying, Steppenwolf losing and then spending most of the remainder of his life trying to redeem himself to Darkseid, in my opinion, is a better story than Darkseid failing to conquer Earth and then forgetting, hey, where was that planet that had the anti-life equation?
Did they say that? Did he say that? Did they say they had the anti-life equation on Earth during that battle?
They said, what is his name? Steppenwolf contacted the side and said, this Earth has the anti-life equation, the planet he's been looking for.
I know, but I said during the battle, when you mentioned, did they know that they had the anti-life equation here? Because you said that's what they were fighting. I don't remember them saying that.
Steppenwolf did say that he was looking for the planet that had the anti-life equation that he mentioned that he was looking for that planet again. And he's like, this Earth is that planet that they defeated you long time ago. And I'm just like, wait a minute. So he knew that was the planet that had the anti-life equation and he never came back?
I don't remember that way, but
I have to look again. But I think that might have been why he was there initially, but I don't know that he knew that and then forgot. I'm just gonna have to look at now. You're gonna make me.
I thought he was there initially for the mother boxes. But you're saying he was initially there for the anti-life
equation. You talking about Steppenwolf or?
No, I'm talking about the original battle with the god, the heroes and everything.
Yeah, the original battle, it was Darkseid who came to invade Earth. And then we later find out when Steppenwolf has that vision that Earth has the anti-life equation. And then he contacts the side and says, Earth, the planet that Darkseid has been looking for that resisted him from conquering over is Earth, and it has the anti-life equation that he was looking for.
Right. So, but I'm saying that original battle was about the mother boxes, right?
No, he already had the mother boxes. His thing, from what I gathered, and maybe I need to look at it again, but the way the way it was presented to me was he had found the anti-life equation on Earth. This is 10,000 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he got defeated. And then all of a sudden, Steppenwolf comes back, and now they realize that now this planet is called Earth. And this was the planet that Darkseid had lost to that had the anti-life equation. And that's why I was just confused. Like, wait a minute, he never came back? He just forgot where that planet was at?
Well, I thought they established he never came back here because of Superman. And like the boxes went silent because they were scared of Superman. And it wasn't until he died, like at the beginning of the movie, that the bell has been rung. Now they're active again. They can come. You know what I mean? But the
thing is that defeat was 10,000 plus years ago. Superman was 30 years old. So that was only 30 years ago that Superman had been.
Right, but I'm saying because the boxes were controlled by the people the heroes on Earth, and he already got defeated, so he wasn't going to come back for them. And they've been silent all this time, but because even not Darkseid, but what's his name? Steppenwolf says, yeah, there's no guardians here. There's no lanterns. There's no Kryptonians. It's open. We can come and take this now, and the boxes are calling to us.
But my question would be is why wouldn't they have called to him before Superman even got to Earth? Like they said it had been 10,000 years since that battle. So again, that's just a nitpick. That's a nitpick,
right? I say because of the other people he named, the other heroes and the Guardians, and
But then the question have to be asked: the Guardians. We don't know how long the Guardians have been gone.
Right.
We know the old gods are gone, and they all split up. So my question again would be: these things didn't happen when Superman died. These things didn't happen when Superman got there. So there had to have been some time between Superman arriving to Earth and the old gods and the lanterns being gone. That they could have. I'm just saying, again, it's a nitpick, but my question is, why didn't the Mother Box call out to him? And I'm still like, Darkseid. How have you not gone back if you knew that's where the anti-life equation was?
If he knew where it was.
Yeah. Well, we'll both take a look. I'll gladly take the L, but that's how I saw that scene when Steppenwolf revealed to Desaad that was the planet that defeated you. It had Earth is the planet that defeated you and had the anti-life equation. And I was just like, Darkseid couldn't just give it up that easily.
Okay.
You see, we're talking about all this deep comic book geekery stuff, which is great. And again, I forgot about Martian Manhunter. You have the sequence with the Green Lantern in there. The ring took off and went to look for somebody else.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, they have really set the table moving forward.
Yeah. What was some of the other? Oh, just Themyscira.
Yeah.
They really showed that. I thought all the stuff on there was dope, man. That whole battle, just even like when you first see the mother boxes and it starts to wake up, and they're just all in that room. Like I was like, damn, do they just stay? That's like one of the. You got guard duty today? Like,
that's their job.
I was like, damn, they be in there ready. Like after all these, kind of goes back to what you were saying. And after all these years, they still on point, ready for some shit to pop off. Like, and that shit, I love how they had the sister kind of walk up to it. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, when the first movie started, I was like, oh, this movie about to be some shit. I was like, okay. I'm ready for this. The only thing that I thought might have been lacking a little bit in the movie was the Aquaman stuff. And I don't know if that was kind of holding back.
I agree
They
with
gave him
that.
an additional scene and some different dialogue, though, and I was actually glad. Oh, and can I just say, of all the things that I did not need to have, I'm not mad about it, but like the Icelandic folk singing, I'm good on that. I'm sorry, but it's a no for me. I was like, are we really doing this right now?
Now, to be fair, I thought the exact same thing until someone said, but yeah, the reason why that scene was there was, but they showed the people somewhat worshiping Arthur like a god and was singing. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I get that. But I'm like, they could have cut this short. They didn't need
that. That's all I'm saying. Because
it was a long stroke.
Like, we didn't need
They're
the
giving us a 12-inch version of Prince. Like,
that's what I'm saying. So he was like, fuck, I'm going to do a solo right here. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but it sounded, never mind. I'm going to leave it alone.
Well, you know what I thought it was? I thought that him and her was like had a little thing together or something. Like she was mad that he was leaving or something. Like, and she like took the sweater and was like, I was like,
yeah, that was the main girl, but they had a little chorus going.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, she was like the head.
She was like smelling his ass. I'm like, he must have put it on her. Like
apparently, but he didn't seem to have no feeling. Never mind. I'm going in a different direction.
Okay.
He was
I thought he was better. Like, you know how they cut out the scene where he's sitting on the lasso of truth and saying all that silly stuff? Yeah. I thought he was just better. I guess because it's DC and it's just more, you can take it more seriously. It just seems more real. Like, it just seemed like something that would actually happen. I liked that they took out some of the stuff that they had him doing. The other scene that I really noticed is the scene where they're in the tunnel. And this is when they meet up with Steppenwolf that first time, and they got the Nightcrawler. Mm-hmm. And then Steppenwolf opens up a hole, so water comes in, and then there's Aquaman.
Right.
And he's actually part of it because there's water. That made sense to me. I thought that it seemed like some of the stuff that they cut out with Cyborg also caused them to change the way that they portrayed Aquaman in a negative way. And I mean on the first one. On this one, I thought they did a better job with making all of that cohesive.
The one
now,
thing
I will say,
go ahead.
I will say this for all you MCU fanboys, you got to take an L right here because DC did something better than Marvel did. When Vision got capped, somehow none of the Avengers made sure to take his body or do anything with him. Superman got capped. They made sure to keep his body out of the hands of the government. So hold that L, MCU fanboys.
Okay.
We don't know where Vision's body is.
Right.
Okay.
Well, no, I'm just saying when he was the sword got his body. The Avengers was just like running around with their head cut off, and all of a sudden Vision's body goes missing. Whereas with Superman, I'm sure the government wanted his body to experiment, but they didn't get his body.
Okay.
So that's a win for the DCEU.
y'all in this Marvel versus DC. The one thing that I give Zack 1 point on this, going back to that tunnel battle scene. I did like the part where Flash was like, I've never been in battle before. I don't know what to do. And Batman was like, just get one person. Just one person. One person? I kind of missed that part. That would be the only thing I thought was kind of cool.
I'm glad that they cut some of that out because I just feel like this is Flash who can tap into the Speed Force. Yes, he's not strong, but he can wreck shop. And he built this suit that was for the purposes of his powers. Like you're saying, it helped with the friction. It didn't burn up anything. So my opinion was, okay, he's the Flash. He knows how to be the Flash. So he didn't need Batman to tell him how to be heroic. So I kind of like that.
Well, yeah, but I guess the thing was he said, I've never done battle before. Now, he may have been stopping people from stealing shit and things, but he never came across no demons and aliens, I think, was kind of, and even here, he seems very scared. Like, okay.
Not as much. Not as much.
Which I thought was a Whedon thing, but that was Zack when they meet with Jim Gordon on the roof and he's doing all those weird faces and stuff. I mean, that's still in there.
Just say he was cooning. He had the coon looks.
Well, he was scared. He was just to show like he wasn't, this is new to him. Like, shit. And even when Cyborg jumped, he was like, ah! But man, just the extendedness of it, even the Jim Gordon stuff, it's just little stuff, but I thought it was great. Like it just showed, like, I thought he was cool. Like that lady came up to him with all them, here's your messages. He looked at it like, he kind of had that Morris say, what? I was like, message. And then you just see him slyly throw them bitches in the garbage. Like, I don't give a fuck about these messages. I was like, Jim was a fool. And then he was up there, and then when he's meeting with those guys, he has a kind of an attitude like, okay, when Cyborg comes like, oh, good shit. He's like, you guys are doing a lot. Like, okay, this is some crazy shit. But man, it's just all of it was dope, man. The interactions with the characters. I'm trying to think of some other cool parts.
Do y'all like Jesse Eisenberg's Lex?
I do personally, but I can understand why those.
I think he's fine as the Joker. Like not the Joker, the Riddler. I could actually see him as the Riddler. I just don't dig him as Lex. It bothers me. Him as Lex, and then the girl that they have playing Lois. I can't.
Really,
I wasn't a fan of him and BVS. I thought he was too comedic relief. But the scene that they had here, I was like, okay, that's a Lex Luthor I could get behind.
I like him both ways.
I try.
No, I like him in this. No, I agree with that. But otherwise, no, Lex is, almost, and I hate to use the obvious comparison, but Lex is supposed to be projecting like the Kingpin. Lex has got that kind of power. He's not, playing silly, goofy shit.
Exactly.
Like what's the thing? I think he becomes that. That's the thing. Like a lot of these characters are not. Even Superman, for a lot of people, he was not the Superman they wanted to see. But I think he becomes that through the course of these movies. And I think Lex and that Batman v Superman, he is not the traditional Lex. He is, but he becomes that. I think he becomes that conniving, smart guy, rich guy. He's more calmed down. And I think that's great. I mean, I think it shows these characters sort of sometimes becoming these things. I want to go back to the Joker. mention him. That last scene with Batman. I thought that was great. It's a little like on the extra side. Like you could have cut out some of those scenes. The movie could have been over. But I thought it spoke so much into what could be just the banter between him and between him and Batman. You know, Batman was like, "Watch what you say. Watch what you say. We're going over, motherfucker.
You're not being careful."
Yeah, and Batman was like, "I'll fucking kill you." Like I was like, "Shit, they are not." He's like, they on each other's neck, and Joker was like, "I don't give a." Like, man, shut up, Nick. You ain't gonna do shit. You ain't never been shit. You know, he was on his shit talking.
Until we brought up Harley Quinn. And he changed
he was
to change.
and I love it. He was like, what did he say? And it was a great line. He said, let's have a truce, Bruce. And he gave him that card. I think that's a hell of a callback, because if they ever do another movie in that moment, I can already see Zack, he'll have that movie, like he'll have that part slow-mo when Batman rips that motherfucking card up, and that's Joker's ass. Like, okay, mom, you done said the wrong thing. And
I did Jared Leto's Joker. I really do. I like the version that he was in Suicide Squad. My only complaint. Really? I like that version. I do. I dig it. I'm sorry, but I do. My only complaint about Jared Leto, I like both of these versions. It's just the laugh. And my thing is, that's like kind of key to Joker. So for me, it's just, wow, sir. But everything else is great. It's just his laugh bothers me. And maybe it's just me, but I can't. That's the only complaint I have. I think the rest of, I like his interpretation. It's just the laugh for me. And I think he's going to keep that. So I'm a little sad about that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to change gears, but I was able to go to screenrant.com, and they have somewhat of a timeline explaining Darkseid. So yes, I'll hold the L. It was a younger Darkseid. He was UXis. Mark, help me out. UXAS.
I can help you.
You're the comic book expert. So yeah, they said that this wasn't Darkseid. He was UX's before he got into that. But they do confirm that he did find the anti-life equation on Earth, but he was beat, and apparently he went into bitch mode and is like, I don't want all the smoke anymore. And they do say that with what they were setting up, or at least I needed help with this, that apparently when he comes back, he wins, and he uses the anti-life equation to not only kill Lois, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, but turns Superman to his side. That's what they were. That's what all of that was supposed to be saying.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, those nightmare scenes definitely sort of foretell where the story is going to go. I just think it's all brilliant callbacks, because if you go back to Batman v Superman, the very first time they show that scene, you don't know what the hell is going on. You're like, what the hell is this? And what is this, some future world? But if you go back and look at it now, you can see he still has that card that Joker gave him, right? Now you understand what the significance of it is. Then you see when he comes out of that nightmare thing, the Flash was like, am I too late? And he's got the same outfit he has on at the end here with the nightmare scene with Joker. So I'm almost wondering if the end scene that we saw, were they on their way to go to, I don't know if it's the cosmic treadmill or whatever, are they on the way to that to send Flash back to warn Bruce?
Yeah, see, that was...
Then Superman comes, so I wonder who didn't survive that, or did they all survive? I don't know, but it looks like they're telling us the story sort of out of sequence, but he's sort of giving you little hints of what is going on. I kind of gather that, I think this was in one of the released storyboards from Zack Snyder, that, yeah, Darkseid does kill Lois with his beams or something, but Superman blames Batman for that. And
probably because he used the anti-life equation.
And then I think Batman and them all get killed or something, but in the nightmare, they just keep sending the Flash back, trying to warn them early enough that they can do something different, so that the outcome doesn't come out that way or something like that.
Yeah, that was I was hoping that I was anticipating that they were going to send Flash back to give that message. So when I didn't see it, I was kind of like, okay, so where does that happen?
Well, maybe it happens in the next movie or something where we actually see that part. But
I wonder, do we ever get that movie?
Well, that's the whole thing now, right? They won't put the pressure to do that. I would think at this point, Warner's would be a fool not to do something. Like, it seems like easy fucking money. Like,
and the thing is that they've empowered these people on the internet that, hey, we make enough noise, Warner will listen to us. Because I think I put in the chat yesterday that Restore the Snyder Universe was trending yesterday.
Oh,
was it Restore? Yeah. I think it was Restore.
Restore the Snyder Cut. Restore the Snyderverse. Yeah. And they're gonna go hard. I think there's a planned day where they're really gonna push it. I think they put the date out. But yeah, that's, of course they're gonna push hard for that. But I would think that, again, you remember when Wonder Woman 84 came out. Remember they announced the sequel like the very next day of the release or some shit like that. Like, yeah, we're doing Wonder Woman 3. So if they can announce some shit like that, and then most people didn't really care for that movie that strongly, they got something that's super hot in their hands, and most people like it. I wouldn't be surprised if the deal is already signed. They're just holding it back and letting it all play out. But it'd be a no-brainer. Like, what? This is the biggest thing HBO Max has. Like, they all over the place. Everybody's talking about it. Why wouldn't you make it? I guess they can make whatever. They want to do a Cyborg thing, or they wanted to do go ahead and just write the check to Ben Affleck, Jared Leto, Zack, let them do that, or whatever. I guess it's a no-brainer to me.
See, going back to, Knucklehead Whedon, his cut and his comments shows that he really wasn't about these characters. He was more about his ego. Whereas Zack, going back to his 300 and Watchmen, he embraces the characters, he acknowledges the past, he acknowledges what, made these characters who they are, and you can see that. And if they maintain that premise moving forward with all of the infinite possibilities they have to go from, DC could really make some noise.
Yeah, I agree. And, the beauty of it is, and we just had, Falcon Winter Soldier just came out. All of these things can work at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, let Marvel be what Marvel is, and they do it perfectly. They kill that. Let that be their thing. Let DC do what they do. Like, neither one of these properties needs to conform to the other's style choices. You know what I mean? Like, and I wouldn't want to see that anyway. I don't want to see the same thing for all these types of superhero movies. They should all have their own little thing. And I think this is perfect. Like, the same way, let Michael Jackson be bad. Let Prince do what he do. I don't want to see Prince follow Michael. I don't want to see Michael follow Prince. That would be stupid. Like, that was the whole point of it, right? They should not be the same. So all of this, he doesn't. Yeah, Marvel does Marvel better. Absolutely, they better. Isn't that their thing? And let DC do what DC does. Like, they can all be great. And some of it you might not like, some you do like. That's just the whole point of art. Like, and hopefully, like I said, with streaming, it opens creative up a little bit more to, forget the rules that we used to have. We can tell these stories in a different way now. Be more creative. Some of the boundaries are gone. Time doesn't matter. You can go deep if you want to. They can pause it. They'll be all right. They'll keep up with it. The audience isn't stupid. They can go back and rewatch it. They're not going to be kicked out, and the other group of people are going to come in and they got to spend another $10 to watch it. No, they can just rewind it. So, to me,
excuse me, I had a question.
Go ahead.
I can't see the chat, and I'm not going to lie. I'm very curious to know what you thought about the film.
Oh, Lord. You can. Well, I'll send you a link. You can join our Discord chat. I'm gonna forewarn you.
He always be on some other stuff. I just would like to know, for my own edification, what the problems with the film were.
See, I'm keeping up. I muted it, but I can see. I think he started something about his qualifications in filmmaking or something.
Yes.
He just started going.
Lord. Yeah, he did. The guy is Mikey from the Life cereal commercial. He hates everything.
Wow.
And
Except
he has
Leslie
the
Jones.
most interesting reasons for why. That's why I asked. I'm just like, it's just entertaining to me, so I want to know.
We'll send you a link to that. Any other things on Zack Snyder's Justice League before we wrap up on this? Let me make sure I got everything I wanted to say.
You know, granted, it's long, but it's definitely worth a second watch, too, because it's that good.
Yeah,
Agreed.
there's a lot going on in that movie. You can see
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and
The Martian Manhunter, because apparently, I had it on while I was, doing some work yesterday. I totally missed spoilers that Martian Manhunter shapeshifted to be Ma Kent.
Yeah.
So that one was just like, whoa, wait, what? So I had to go back and watch that. And then I'm kind of confused. I'm like, Zack Snyder, I want to give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe this was a reshoot that he did when they gave him the Snyder cut money. So that end scene where Martian Manhunter comes and tells Bruce, "Hey, I'm here for you. I'm here. I'm on your team." And I'm thinking to myself, like, nigga, they just took on Steppenwolf. Why the fuck weren't you there?
yeah. He wasn't
What
putting
the hell was that? I'm here for you now. If I was Bruce, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here with this bullshit.
Well, maybe when Manhunter got to Earth, he's trying to play like the Watcher and just stay out of it. Let things go as they're naturally going to go.
Well, again, if you go back and watch the previous two movies, he was active through the whole thing, just in a different. He was in the military. He played that role, right? He was in Batman. He was in Man of Steel. In that, and then in Batman v Superman, he's still behind the scenes. He had a lot more interaction with Lois, right? They were investigating those bullets and all that situation, and then he was trying to tell the president not to send that nuclear bomb because it could possibly kill Superman. So he was always in a position, like he got himself in a position of military authority, which I thought maybe he thought that's how he would help. But then I think he sees in this one where I have to really get boots on the ground. Like this shit's about to get real crazy. I understand what's happening now. But I like you said, he was always active with Lois, and even he realized I got to get Lois together because she's important. Let me go in there and holler at her.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, his arc was great. If you watch the other two movies, he's always been there. He's just in the background.
Nah, I'm thinking you're supposedly as strong as Wonder Woman and maybe can go toe to toe with Superman, but lose.
He's stronger than Superman.
Really?
Yeah, he can kill Superman.
He can take Superman.
Well, the thing is, too,
I'll concede to you guys.
The battles that go on in this movie, for the most part, are hidden from the most people don't know what the hell is going on. Like the battle at that nuclear plant area, that wasn't seen by the world. So they don't really know all this is happening. And I think only Martian Manhunter realizes what's going on because, again, he's in a high military position and he saw what happened with Doomsday. And now he sees that Lois is afflicted. But I don't know if he really knew what they were doing in this movie with the heroes and stuff to the level of what it was. And I think he realizes now, like, yeah, I got to do more.
Okay, now you triggered me because you just mentioned Doomsday. I'm thinking like, my dude, Martian Manhunter, you couldn't have been there to help with that?
He was.
But maybe he was just previewing the team to decide if he really wanted to join, and he wanted to see how that battle went, and he saw it went well. He's like, okay, I could be cool with these people, and that's
Well, he was in the military, right? He was in the war room, so he was a part of it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I feel you on that, Violet, but my thing is, I don't need you to assess when there's a big giant monster, world destroying monster. It's like, yo, you got some shit that you can bring to the battle to defeat this. You got an alien invasion. I don't need you to assess if you want to work with us. Put in this work, homie. We need you.
But you're right. I hadn't thought about the fact that it is at the end that he, like, where have you been? I hadn't even thought about that. So yeah, I'm trying to help him out. Yeah, he was.
Well, like I said, go watch the other movies. You see where he was.
And I'm sorry, I'm being consistent because I had the same thing for Aquaman. I had the same thing for Wonder Woman. I had the same thing for Batman. I'm like, motherfucker, you mad at Superman, but your ass was running around in the streets. Where was you putting in the work to take out the Kryptonians?
Who are you talking about?
Bruce Wayne. He out there mad at Superman for the destruction that we need to take out.
Because he can't battle. They'll kill him. He can't battle those people.
But he can battle Superman?
Because he had kryptonite.
Man,
Think, brother, think. You see
Okay.
why Batman was sidelined. He wasn't going toe to toe with them niggas in this. He was like, I'll handle these like foot soldier niggas, but y'all gonna go ahead and I can't fuck. And truth be told, all it really take is a few solid hits from them foot soldiers. Batman's done, but he had guns and shit, but he wasn't out there battling with Steppenwolf to beat his ass.
But he did more work than Martian Manhunter. I'll say that.
Again, Martian Manhunter was in the military. He was putting in work. He didn't know this stuff was going on until this movie. He didn't realize the level of Darkseid and all. The military had no idea. When did they ever come in contact with Darkseid? Not Darkseid, but what's the other dude? Steppenwolf. He's barely seen by anybody in this, except when he comes to get that mother box at Star Labs. That's when they realize, yo, there's some other shit going on here. That's the only time they ever see him.
I'm gonna put this
and the
last
military
one in.
attacks him.
I'm gonna give this last nitpick and I'll be done with it. Martian Manhunter has telepathy. He couldn't have read any one of their minds when he was around them.
They don't show that in the
find out
movie,
what's
though.
going on.
I was trying not to say any of that.
But they didn't show that in the movie, so we don't
Like,
know.
Amco, I'm with you. I was trying to let it die down. Maybe they're going to show some of that stuff in the next.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But until they show that, we don't know he has that ability.
Yeah, but that was the last thing I saw. I was like, it was great to see Martian Manhunter, but I was on my what's his name, John McClane. Welcome to the party, pal.
For sure.
Thanks.
You know, the original. I think they reshot that because again, the rumored scenes from years ago was that it wasn't Martian Manhunter who came to the Bruce thing. It was the Green Lantern. And that's what they were doing. And actually, even Zack has even come forward now and said he was trying to get Ryan Reynolds to be in the movie, but the timing just didn't work. But I think the original scene was Green Lantern comes to see Bruce, and he's like, "Yo, we're gonna send the Corps. You know, we're gonna help."
He's a cast of Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
That's what
So yeah, I mean, but it's all set up.
Well, I'm just gonna say, DC, they don't have a plan. I think we can all agree on that. They do not have a cohesive, long-term plan for these DCEU films. So, in my opinion, go ahead and give Zack Snyder a couple of more films to do this for HBO Max. You can take it. If we can see Crisis on Infinite Earth on the CW while they released Joker and Shazam and Aquaman and now this film and Birds of Prey, then damn it, you can have the Snyderverse self-contained on HBO Max while you have CW still going, while you're doing your WB theatrical release films.
Well, I would argue they did have a plan. The issue is they don't want to stick to it. You gotta remember, this movie was shot. When was this? This movie was probably shot before Infinity War and Endgame was shot, right? This movie was done. Like in terms of all the shooting was done. So they obviously they didn't just shoot this. They didn't just let him just shoot whatever the fuck they wanted to. They knew exactly what they had bought into. Like they had a plan when they let him do Man of Steel, and then they let him do a sequel, Batman v Superman, and then they let him do another movie, which originally was 2 movies. It was supposed to be Justice League 1 and 2. So they had a plan. The problem is they didn't want to stick with it because they saw the success that somebody else was having and they wanted to duplicate that. So they abandoned their plan and then said, oh, let's just make it like that. And that's where the problems lie. And I hope this is something that people can see. You never want to change your shit to try and be like somebody else's shit because you're not going to ever be like them. You ain't going to never beat them at their game. They should have just stuck with originally what they did and put it out and move forward with that and not expect it to be Thriller. You know, again, if Thriller was popping and you just made an album and your album was on Under the Cherry Moon style and I said, man, well, we need it to be like Thriller. Let's go back, get another producer so he can reproduce it and put it out. It would fail. It's the same thing they did with this movie. You know, Zack didn't go back and reshoot this movie. He just used what he already had filmed and just shot 4 minutes of new footage at the very end. So this movie was already in the can in terms of it all shot. Just had to add the special effects. So they obviously had a plan. The problem is, will they stick with it? So hopefully they'll go back to their original plan and let him do what they agreed to originally. And don't let themselves be distracted by the success that somebody else is having. Because obviously it never works.
Don't clout chase. Don't clout chase.
Yeah, don't chase that money.
Marvel, again, it's like Marvel, they have their plan. They have one person's vision, one person in control. And they're not, in my opinion, I haven't seen them really deter from what their overall strategy and goals are. It's like,
well, Marvel
DC,
has done the same thing as this. It's just not made as a big deal. There's been plenty of Marvel and DC movies that were shot one way and they changed it and put out something different.
Oh, no, what I was speaking of is, like you said, where they had the plan with Snyder, they're going to do this way, and then they changed it up. I believe Marvel, like their goal after the success of Iron Man, okay, we're building to Avengers, and then we're going to build to this Thanos Infinity War type thing, and they stuck to that plan. Now, they might have changed the individual films up a tad bit to get to their end goal, but they didn't change the end goal.
Right. Well, yeah. And again, let Marvel do what Marvel does. I don't care if they have a plan or not. Personally, I just want them to make great movies. That should be the plan. Like, let the artists make great movies. Is that movie going to be $1 billion? It might not. But if that's all your end goal is, and what your business is, then you should just make the most copy and paste, made by committee movies and be happy with that. And if you get the money, so be it. But obviously, it's got to be a little bit more to it because, again, you're trying to follow somebody else's playbook. It's not going to happen. It ain't going to work. You'll never be as good as they are.
And the other thing is that they should really take a hard look at the success of Joker. I don't feel like there was a larger plan with that film. They got someone who wanted to tell a great story, to your point, Mike. They got a great actor to give a great performance. And not only was it award winning, but they did $1 billion. And really, and if you look, I'm sorry, that film was good, but $1 billion worth good? I don't know. So it's like,
well,
hey,
obviously
look
it
at
is
what you've
$1
done.
billion worth because the people decided that.
You're right. But I'm just saying, I'm just like, I can't believe that did $1 billion.
I got you. Well, we will wrap this up. Violet's got to jump out, and we are nitpicking at this point. Well, man, there's so much to talk about this movie. Maybe we'll have another discussion at another point. But definitely go see it for yourself. Decide for yourself. But I say definitely carve out some time and enjoy the experience of watching something like this. I think it's worth watching for sure. Violet, where can they find you online? Or does she already?
Sorry, I was still muted. Is VioletBinteractive.com or Instagram, VioletESQ.
All right. And Pooh, where can they find you, sir?
Twitter and Instagram at Pooh.
And Big Sexy and Zack.
Excuse me. Let's see. Twitter, WSE Mark. Facebook, Mark Wiggins. Instagram, Mark Wiggins 2. All
right. And ladies and gentlemen, please let us know what you thought about this movie. And with that, work it like a job. We'll see you next time. Peace. All right, we're back. It ain't over. Did you like that beat? It's not over. Jam. Jam. All right, so we're back. We got to talk about Falcon Winter Soldier. Debuted this week. Episode 1 is out on Disney Plus. And Big Sexy, you got the honors to start us up. What'd you think of it?
I loved it. As much as I enjoyed WandaVision to me shot like a TV show. This was shot like a film. The opening sequence really lets Anthony Mackie show what he's about, and to me elevates the Falcon a lot. I think they have something good on their hands here, and they talk about, we do all the action, we do all that butt kicking and all that, but we also talk about reality of when you're not in the super suit. We got to get jobs, man. We got obligations. We got things to do. And again, people forget that Mr. Mackie's character, Sam Wilson, was gone for 5 years. That creates a problem. So I'm curious to see how they develop it further, but the opening sequence alone carried the day. It was magnificent. I'm all in on Winter Soldier and Falcon.
All right.
Falcon, Winter Soldier.
And I'll go next. Keep in mind brief. I loved it as well. This is what I was waiting for from Marvel. They did not disappoint. The opening scene gets right to the action. And I just loved it too because it gets into the world of the MCU, and we start to get because I find it fascinating what happened after the blip, like after Endgame, what happens, and this starts to dive into that a little bit. So I thought it was just very like it was a lot of good setup, but I was just like totally engrossed into it, and seeing Anthony Mackie's character Falcon, he's a real person to me now. I was like, wow, he's got a family. I was very interested in all of his family dynamic with his sister and all that. It was very interesting in trying to get along. I know I'll let Ant get into that, but yeah, it was great. Even Winter Soldier, again, they're giving him some backstory and setting him up as a real person. I was like, okay, this shit is good. And I was actually mad when it was over because I was like, God damn it, the shit went like quick. I was like, it's just getting good. You know, they show the new Captain America. I was like, oh, they done did it. So I was like, I can't wait for the next episode. I can't. That's my only complaint. I have no complaints on the show itself. I kind of wish they just dropped the whole thing because I'm like, how many episodes is this? This shit's gonna be like 6 weeks. I'm just impatient now. I don't want to wait, but maybe so that's a good thing. I guess it was so good that I can't wait to see the next episode. Like, so I loved it. And Pooh, what did you think?
I have to echo both of you guys' sentiment. First of all, from the get-go, for those that felt that WandaVision wasn't having enough action, they gave that to you. They gave you a dope-ass in-air action scene. I had no idea that Falcon could be this badass because we've seen little bits and pieces, but he had his time to shine, and he was doing things that I was just like, whoa. Mark, you can help me out. Is any of that canon or not? You tell me later. But personally, I don't give a fuck because it was dope as hell. And then when they said, okay, we gave you that, we're going to slow it down and we're going to do some storytelling. We're going to do some character arts. We're going to bring in some situations that not only resonate for these characters, but resonate for the viewer. And I loved it. Seeing the issues with Anthony Mackie, when spoilers, when he decides he wants to save his family's home and his family's businesses, when he was saying this is our legacy, I felt that when he went to that bank and that bank man was like, did him like Bo Bridges in One Night in Miami. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, Falcon, let me get a selfie. Yeah, Negro, we can't give you that money. You ain't had no job history in 5 years. Wow. I was dead. That ain't no excuse.
Can I ask you a real quick question? Before you,
yes, sir.
Did Falcon did he say something to his sister like, I don't play around with these white folks or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
He did say
I thought I was tripping. I was like, did they have him say that? Wow.
Yeah, he said it.
I guess I need to go back because I do not remember that. But that whole scene and situation, I felt that because it reminded me as a history major, yes, UCLA, I'm going to go ahead and say that, of how the brothers that went away to the army and was fighting fascism and the Nazi racist regime and, liberated Europe, then came home and was like, yeah, you still nigga. Hit him with the Jay-Z, you still nigga. And I was just like, and that's why I put it in the chat. How the hell do you save the world, shit, the universe, and can't get a small business loan? Man, so that's my take right now. I'm feeling it. And the other thing is, I'm sorry, I guess I thought I was going to wrap it up. I'm sorry, congregation. I got to keep on going.
Amen.
The other thing was with Bucky. It was, maybe it's just me, but I thought it was great to see, here is this character that's been through some shit. And he's having nightmares behind the work that he was forced to do, the people he had that he killed. And unlike with Tony, that we didn't see, who was clearly traumatized, unlike with Wanda, who damn near tortured a whole town because she was so traumatized with the grief of not only losing her brother, but her lover, here's Bucky doing the work on himself to get better, going to therapy. Now I understand part of that was part of his pardon, but it still was good to see that, okay, at least one of these Avengers is getting some help because they've been through some stuff and they probably do need someone to talk to and work through that stuff. So I'm glad that they brought that in there. I understand that it might not make for captivating popcorn blockbuster flick story, but it's good to see that because, we have 9 episodes and there are some good nuanced stories that's being in there. When we find out about who that Asian man is to Bucky, I was like, oh, shit.
Explain that to me. Did he kill that guy or something?
That's what they're leading us to believe, that he killed his son, and now he's making amends by having these interactions with him. When I saw the picture of his son that he essentially had a shrine to, I was like, oh man, that's deep, heavy-ish.
That'd be heavy if they reveal it to the father.
We'll see, but that would be interesting to see how that goes. My question, no, I don't even want to ask you that question, Mike. Let's move on.
Go ahead. Don't do that.
Okay. Go ahead. You're a father. Could you forgive that person?
That's what I'm saying. For me personally, I don't know what his son did. So now, if his son was some terrorist murdering people, possibly I could understand. But that's why I'm very curious who his son was and why did Bucky kill him. What was the circumstance behind that? Because
even better question: if he killed him,
well, he killed him.
Yeah, he seemed like
he killed him.
And the funny thing too, I'm not gonna jump in your time, but when he was on the date with that chick, I was waiting for her to question why you got them gloves on while we eating. Did you notice he had gloves on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah, she did ask him.
She did? What did he say? I don't know.
He said something about a skin condition. I think he said a skin condition.
Okay, I missed that part.
Yeah.
I was like, is he going to smash? How's he going to hide the arm? Right there? Hopefully he don't go crazy. Tear it up. I don't know, Winter Soldier, has he been hollering at chicks? She might end up saying the wrong shit. Snap that nigga PSD up in the P. Trigger word, this nigga Christ. Let me stop.
The safe word is Steve.
Why'd you say his name? Whoa, stop the hate.
But yeah, and I was finished, but since we were going on, it's like I do love the interaction between Anthony Mackie and his sister. We haven't seen, black siblings since Black Panther. So to see that, it ain't all gravy. Like, we saw Shuri and T'Challa, they were joking. I mean, because they're essentially nobility and rich and smart as fuck. Here we got, they're struggling. And, I know some people probably are tired of the black folks struggling trope. But, it is kind of real. And it's not like they've been struggling their whole life. There's been, exciting incidences that's occurred to that, and more so, Falcon, he disappeared for 5 years,
right?
Literally.
Yeah, sister had to hold it down herself. Yeah,
there's a deep story they can tell with this. I hope they go there because they sort of imply things, and I think it's fascinating to look at Falcon and his family and him being he's an Avenger. I was like, this motherfucker out
he
there,
saved the universe.
Yeah, he's on some other shit, but he's still a real person. And it's just, it's fascinating to me. A bank would say, yeah, we can't give you the money. And but can I take he was essentially Michael Jordan. He's the ball player that everybody loves. Oh man, when you won the game, can I take your picture? And like you said, but you don't get no dough. Still ain't fucking with you. I'm like, damn, but he's an Avenger. And he was like, the Stark and they're not paying you no checks. I was like, for real. What? Them motherfuckers ain't.
And what's also good about it is the fact that his sister's like, okay, yeah, you Falcon. Okay, yeah, you say the universe. You still my brother Sam. You ain't special. She really was giving him you ain't shit.
My cousin can do that shit. No,
as far as the Stark people and the Avengers giving out money, yes, the Avengers have been known to give a stipend, $1,000 a week back in the day. So there is money. There is
damn,
money
ain't even
there.
Minimum wage.
Can
I get $15 an hour? God damn.
Back in the day. I'm sure it's adjusted for inflation and all that. So the question is, why didn't Sam just call up the Maria Stark Foundation or whatever it's called now and say, look, I need a little something. Boom.
I guess they doing the same thing and say, we love you. Come on over for
No.
memorial dinner for Tony and shit. But no. They ain't giving it.
Now, if they put that in, that will be cold-blooded.
Now I have to do the MCU versus DC fanboy thing. Bruce Wayne took care of Clark Kent's people.
Bruce handled it.
Tony Stark with all that money, he was like, "Nah, you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps."
Conspiracy brother hat. But Clark is white.
True, that's true. That is true.
Bruce Wayne was on code. Goddammit, that's.
He was late, but he did get on code.
I'm on code. Now, did he hook up Cyborg? No, let me stop.
And he played in Gotham too, so he ain't got no excuse.
Hometown hero. Well, just like Jim Brown. He's like, man, you ran the ball on that. I remember you. Proud to say I know. What was Cyborg's name? His real name?
Victor.
Victor.
Yeah.
I'm proud to know Victor. You think I could come in and have? Oh no! Stay out here on the porch. I'll be right back.
I can see him now coming to Gotham like, "Hey, Bruce, I need a job here." Well, it wouldn't be fair. You got a computer in your head. That's unfair to the competition. I can't be playing favorites. You know how it is.
Now, you know what it would be? It'd be Alfred. Alfred be on his royal family shit. Oh, Master Victor. Come. Oh, hey, Alfred, can I go in the Batcave? No. Actually, you can stay outside. Be on his royal family.
Yeah, hold the paper bag up to him. Nah.
Like, nah. Are you more machine or more black?
Wow.
and Black Widow be on her Sharon Osbourne. How can I be racist? What did I do, Sherry? What did I do, Sherry? Tell me. Well, actually, we just... Huh? Like, whoa. Black Widow is under investigation. She won't be with the team for a while.
Well, she's dead now.
Oh, I guess so. Well, this is before she...
You're right. But yeah, I'm really looking sideways. I'm like, doesn't he get the VA benefits or something like that, or Army? I'm just looking like, you ain't got nothing. It's like they can give you some stipends for damn near rescuing people before you get to the Libyan border, but he really can't go to the Army or whoever and be like, yo, I need some help here, or you. Yeah,
he seemed to imply it was like more of a GoFundMe account type get down or something. He's like, well, the kindness of the people. Like, damn.
Well, these things take time. And, he's not the only vet who comes back after 5 years, and they gotta put it all back together. Now the bank.
What other vet saved the universe?
Yeah, this nigga doing press conferences, giving up the shield. They know.
Yeah, I hated that too. I was like, my brother, really? Steve went through time to bring that to you, and you just gonna give it up to this government? I get it. You being a loyal soldier.
400 years.
Right. Well, it's about the people. It's the people's shield. Who is eyes to hold on to this? This belongs in the museum. I side-eyed that so hard. Like, no, he didn't. I mean, at least I'm like, how you can't afford to take care of your family's farm and bow, but you got what, $15 million worth of vibranium? Shit.
He was on. They kept it a buck. That's how cats do get down like that. And then he saw at the end when they was like, "Here's the new Captain America." He was like, "Ain't this a bitch?"
Also,
there you go.
Speaking of Wakanda. Why didn't Sam just call up the royal family? Because in the books, those wings, Black Panther made those. So they have a pre-existing relationship.
Let me put on my conspiracy theory. Because probably Wakanda, they didn't see, he's FBA. And they probably...
FBA, what? Federal Basketball Association?
Gotta be brand new, okay.
He's foundational Black American versus Wakandas, they probably call him all kind of Akadas.
I'm sorry. All kind of what?
Akatas. That's their slur for us.
Wow. I learned
And again, they show that Wakanda don't fuck with Black Americans. They coming around to it. But traditionally, they we about Wakanda. We don't deal with, we're not here trying to save everybody else outside of this country. So maybe they're still working on that. That's why I said in the chat, maybe he should go to the outreach program center they got in Oakland or something at the end of Black Panther.
Yeah.
You need to go holler and say, yo, man, I need some help. Because, Wakanda, they help with Wakanda. Black American, you American nigga. You follow your master. Where your master, Steve? Let me stop. I'm just clowning. I'm talking shit. I know. Why is it always about race, Michael? I'm
because
so
it's funny sometimes.
I'm disappointed.
And it's true.
I'm so disappointed. But I think the show is great. I can't wait to see more. It's awesome, man. It's good stuff. This is. Go ahead.
I just saw this post. Somebody said the Avengers need a union.
Okay, something shit. Who do they fall under? That's the question. They're not. Is there Shield or is it Sword or
again,
American
going
government?
Back to the whole Civil War thing, the whole beef of that. They're under the government to an extent. They got that United Nations Charter and all that. So yeah.
And there's a lot of questions like who were those? They had those bodies. Remember in the original Avengers, Nick Fury was talking to the council or some shit.
Oh yeah,
they were in charge. Then you have shit. I'm curious, like who is in charge? So the American government decided on Captain America, but what about the rest of it? Is it?
Wait a minute. You said the magic word. Why didn't Sam just call Nick Fury? Nick, handle this.
Nick's off world. He's like, I don't deal with this. He's on space.
So what you saying is he told him to hold his own nuts?
Hey, you want to deal with them folks? I'm out here in space. I ain't got to deal with that shit no more. I'm dealing with aliens. What if you're
dealing with the impending secret
invasion? Yeah, but shit, we ain't dealing with them supremacists. I ain't got time for that.
Whoa.
Hey, Falcon in the show said, I don't fool with them white folks. That's what he said. Sam was like, shit, nigga. I learned a long time ago.
Yeah, but
there's some battles the Avengers just ain't gonna fight. And they ain't fighting white supremacy, so I'm out this bitch. I'm dealing with aliens, nigga. Better holler at T'Challa. But nah, I was bullshitting. But yeah, this is a great show. I can't wait to see it.
And of course, the usual suspects in the chat hate it. But what else?
I didn't see what Q said. Did he say he didn't like it?
He said after the first scene, he didn't need to hear about the sister. He didn't need to hear about Bucky. Like, I just needed the action.
So what does he just want? Like 30 minutes of just fights or something? I don't know.
Pretty much. Guy hates everything.
That's crazy.
Lord and master of the haterade.
All right. Ampu, you said you saw some other things you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, I started following this dude on a TikTok called the Narrator with a DA, and he put me on to a couple of films and TV. One of which I know Mark is probably gonna clown me. I finally saw Sleepaway Camp, and that movie is a trip. That ending, good Lord, get the fuck out of here!
I can't clown you because I didn't see it.
What? I thought you hadn't been on it.
I haven't seen it either. What is it about?
It's apparently it starts off with this family. This dude has a son and a daughter. They were out swimming at a lakeside, and there was a boating accident, and one of the children died. Then it fast forwards about, I want to say 5 to 6 years later, and the surviving member, a girl, I think Angela, she goes to sleepaway camp with her cousin, and all of a sudden, it's kind of like Friday the 13th, all of a sudden these mysterious deaths start happening, and people are trying to figure out who it is, and the ending will have you like, I was literally sitting there like, what the fuck? And I just sat there like, are you kidding me? And then it just ends. So I highly recommend. One, the death scenes are pretty inventive. Remember, this came out in '83, so some of the kills were fresh and new. They weren't regurgitated or remixed versions of what we saw from Halloween or Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. And two, there is a deeper story in her that if you look at it through a 2021 lens, you'll be like, holy shit. They could not do this film, in my opinion. They would not be able to do this film in 2021, as it was some deep-ish going on, and that ending was just ridiculous. I highly recommend you go see it.
All right, Sleepaway Camp. All right.
Yes. And then the other film I watched was called Vibranium. This starred Jesse Eisenberg, and the woman is escaping me. They're in a relationship. They're thinking about, taking it to the next level, buying a home, and they go to this place called Lucky Brand's housing community. They're like, this dude is real creepy trying to sell this home to him, and he's like, yeah, just follow me. I'll take you to the neighborhood right now. All of the homes look exactly alike. And they pull up to this one home that's number 9. They go into the house. They showing them everything. They go to this one room. It was blue. It had a crib. And it's like, the woman says, it's like, wow, this is painted blue. Like, so you expect a boy? And the guy just starts mimicking her voice. It's word for word, sound for sound. And it's like, yeah, do you guys want kids? And they're like, yeah, someday. He's like, okay, yeah, this is for parents. I just want to let you know that this home is for life. And they're just looking at him like, this motherfucker is creepy as hell. So they go out to the backyard, and while they're looking around and seeing how things are and noticing that all the house look alike, the dude, Marvin, he creeps out, jumps in his car, and just drives off. They're like, yeah, whatever. He was kind of creepy anyway. I don't care. So they go back into their car, and they spend like the next 7 hours trying to drive out of this gated community, to the point that they run out of fucking gas. And now they're just stuck in here day after day, putting help on the roof of the house. And then all of a sudden they start getting these box rashes to survive. And they're like, what the hell is going on? And then one day they wake up and there's a box with a baby in there, a baby boy. And they're forced to not only raise this child, but then they found out that this child may be some type of other creature, because he's mimicking them. He's damn near just like torturing them. He'll wake up and want breakfast, and then he'll just scream and scream and scream until they give him their cereal. And then he's mimicking their voice as he's heard them arguing about trying to survive, and they're tired of this and they're sick. He's mimicking their love-making sounds to them. He was just seriously just torturing them. And I don't want to give any more away, but it was just a hell of a deep and strange ass film, and the ending was just had me like, what the fuck?
What was
Vibranium? It's on
Vibranium.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, I have to check this out.
Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah, some of the stuff that they were doing was just kind of crazy. If that was my woman, I'd have been like, yeah, why the hell are you treating this thing like it's a real child? She was up to getting mad at Jesse Eisenberg, mistreating him and being abusive. And he's like, he's holding us captive. This isn't your son. Get the fuck over it. And I'm looking like, yeah, bitch, get the fuck over it. But, sometimes you can't save everybody.
Interesting. Okay. Got some good recommendations.
You see the trailer, it definitely gets you involved.
I can't recommend enough Netflix's I Care a Lot. That movie is heavy. It is magnificent. For those of you who haven't seen it, the premise is there's a young lady who is a caregiver / conservator, and she goes around finding old people without family, getting the court to declare them wards of hers, and she cleans out their accounts. But she came across the wrong woman, because this one woman was connected. Her son was one of the people we talk about in the dark suits. He was really a heavy cat, and it just goes from there.
He was really Russian mob. Yes.
He was mobbed up.
He was the wrong one.
I heard people talking about this movie.
It's good.
Yeah, I've never wanted vile things to be committed to a woman
Thank you.
worse than I wanted towards her. The first 20 minutes and you see the things that she was doing to these, I was like, I want her brutally killed. Just kill. Yeah. And then there's a point where you actually get to thinking like, okay, are we supposed to be rooting for her? And I'm like, I don't want to root for her. I want her dead. Kill her.
I wasn't rooting for shit. Fuck her. She needed to go.
Yeah. There was this one man who had to go to court, and he just was pleading his case about how he can't see his mother. They kept me from him. She's getting old, and here's this woman talking about how he's just using his mother for money, and I'm just like, wow. I just sat back like, okay, this is pissing me off. And the sad part, even further sad part about it, is this is based on actual things that have happened to people.
Wow. All right. Man, I don't think I've seen any other things I can think of. I started watching the last Blockbuster documentary.
That's on my queue as well.
It's pretty interesting. But yeah, I don't think I've seen anything else. Real quick, there's a lot of different little stories that has happened over the couple weeks that we haven't talked about. But what's one of the bigger stories we can jump into real quick? There's
the Piers Morgan, Meghan Markle Royals thing. I put this elsewhere, but it just kind of amazes me that the same America First, Make America Great people that says fuck the British crown. That's why we kicked their ass and we made the United States so we don't live under the tyranny of the crown. They're the same people that are now defending the royal family because this half black woman who doesn't look black at all, if you ask me, dares call the royal family racist. Now all of the same people that are talking about fuck the British Empire and the tyranny are defending it against this American woman that just happens to be black or have black in her.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to say on that stuff. Only thing I just was kind of saw that whole Sharon Osbourne rant. Yeah, but it's just kind of like, man, you kind of, the more you talk, the more you dig in your grave. Like,
yep,
just relax. You're getting too, just that the attitude that she had about it, and
she went full Karen.
Yeah, it's like, stop it. Like, it was just cringeworthy. Yeah.
She's lucky she didn't catch Holly Robinson a few years ago, because Holly would have put hands on her.
Yeah,
trust me on that.
And the thing was that she tried to put out a email that Holly Robinson Pete sent to her that was glowing about Sharon. And then a journalist said, yeah, I know what was going on here. That email was 3 months before she was released from the show and found out you had something to do with it. So stop faking the funk.
Yeah, that's when you're trying to drop receipts, but you don't drop the full receipt.
Right.
Somebody blast you.
Yeah, I think Sharon got to go. She's got to go.
See, the thing is, I don't think she will. I don't think there's enough pressure to have her removed from the show.
I disagree. She took a shot at Julie Chen, who was married to one of the CBS heavies.
Yeah. Well, no, he's gone.
He's
gone.
Oh, he's gone?
Les Moves is, for sexual harassment.
Oh, damn.
He was Me Too'd.
Yeah.
So,
damn, Les.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why she left the show, because she was, she's sticking by her man. He's like, oh, y'all gonna do my husband like that? Okay, I'm gone.
Wow.
Yeah. I guess we'll see.
We will see, but damn.
And then there was the Kirk Franklin thing.
Oh, Kirk. Call your son a bitch ass nigga. You can't do that, man.
Well, he admits to being wrong about it. My thing about it is, though, on some levels, his son releasing that tape is the actions of a bitch ass nigga.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't understand. First of all, let me say this: it's sad all the way around. It's unfortunate that your family has to go through something like this
publicly.
It's an L, in my opinion, from the father's side, that you have to even be going at your son about something like this. But it's even worse that it's made public. And I just try to understand the son's point of view. Like, what did you think was supposed to happen by you putting this tape out there? Were you trying to shame your dad? You know, mess up the legacy? Or, you know what I mean? Or you clout chasing. It's just, either way, it's wrong. But it's like, why make it public though? Like, if I got in an argument with my parents or somebody, why would I put them on blast about it? You know, it just doesn't make sense. That's the sad part to me. Like, I don't
No, you're
understand.
right. You're right. You got some things that can stay internal, no matter what is said. It needs to stay in the house.
Yeah, like, and even if it was the worst thing ever that was said, I guess his intention was to hurt him, which is sad unto itself that a son would even put your father on blast. It's just sad. It's like, man, that sucks. And he's older. He's like in his 30s, I think.
Yeah, he's too old for this shit.
There's a lot going on there, you know. And he's at the point where he should be getting his own therapy and getting over these curses, because you know, blaming your dad at 30, you know, you're old enough, you're a man now, so you're gonna have to do what you need to do to get out of that situation. But putting him on blast as a man is just, I don't know, man, it's just so foul to me. It's so corny. I don't understand what he then I see his sister came out and put him on blast. And it's just going back and forth between him and the sister. And I was like, I know Kurt's just looking at this like, God,
take this shit inside.
My family looking crazy out here right now.
When he was the Anthony word, they're looking ratchet.
Yeah, man. But I mean, I don't have no problem with what he said per se, because that should be a private matter. And I don't know what his son did to get him talking
That's
crazy like that. You know,
What
it's only half a
started this?
receipt. It's not the full thing. So I don't know what all happened. Like, was he saying, "Oh, Dad, I'll beat your ass, you bitch"? You know, I don't. And you gotta think, when you record something and the other person knows they're not being recorded, you're not gonna act a fool on there because you know you're being recorded.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's all like, it's not real. Like, it's not, you know, I mean, it's like,
Formative.
you're not gonna say nothing crazy because you know you're taping it. He don't know he's being taped, and then you know what I mean. So it's not even a real sort of situation. Like, where's the rest of the tape? So it's funny style to me.
Interesting.
It's a sad thing, man. But yeah, he had to come out and apologize, Kirk Franklin. I get it. You know, he's got a brand, I guess you like to say, or he's got a business, so he's got to come out. He can't be stupid about it. So I understand that.
Now, what do you think about, you know, people saying that, because there was a discussion about how a lot of black people are like, and they were saying that generational black community trauma. They were trying to paint it as that it's not okay. And, you know, my thing is like, well, I don't know what their relationship was. I don't know. I hate to blame the victim, but I'm like, okay, well, what did you do to get that reaction from your father? Because fathers don't behave that way just out of nowhere.
Right.
Especially someone that public in the limelight who's tied himself to God as he has. So, I mean, I understand people can be two-faced, but to come at you like that, what's been going on?
Yeah, exactly. What's the full circumstances of why you're recording conversations with your parents anyway? What prompts you to do that? If something else is going on. Like, did you go into it like, oh, I'm going to get him on tape talking crazy so I can get his ass? Let me say something I know is going to get him triggered. Or was he just a bad guy and he just threatening to kill you out of the blue because he disrespects you and you're going to get it on tape, and then you're going to use the tape to expose him to what? I think to shame him into being better. It doesn't
Well, it's like
make
you
any
said,
sense.
though, this son is 30-something years old, and, you know, Kirk Franklin is Kirk Franklin. And so what's your problem, man? You know, whatever your beef is with your father, you go talk to him. You don't set him up to say some inappropriate shit and then go ahead and air it out, man. Yeah, I'm going to show him. What do you do, man? Kirk has built up his whole, thing, his empire. What have you done? Nothing. This is why you have notoriety for airing out your dad over some bullshit. Come on, man.
And even if Kirk was bad, like I say, let's just say he's the most terrible person. Again, at 30-something years old, you're a grown man.
You don't live there
then
anymore.
You just have to separate yourself away from him and go get your healing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And get your life better. If he's that miserable and you can't talk to him, then cut him off. And you go be your man, your own man, and get counseling and help so you can get away from that generational curse. And you know you can't change him. So leave it alone. But why, again, airing it out just doesn't, I don't know how that helps the son. Like, what is that? Do you want everybody to feel sorry for you or something like that? Which you shouldn't need that. As a man, you shouldn't need that. You need to go get some therapy.
Anthony is partially right. This is generational. You know, people that age now, I know I'm going to get a lot of blowback, but a lot of them are just soft. You know, I'm going to handle it with social media. What? Man, no. Stand up. If there's a problem, go talk it out like a man and don't be a punk. This guy's a punk.
Yeah, but see, the other side of what you said, I don't disagree with you. The other side, though, I said, ultimately, it's the L for Kirk because he is how you raised him to be or did not raise him to be. Either way, it's a reflection on you. That's why I said as a father, it's an L either way because, again, that's your kid. That's your seed. He learned from you he didn't learn from you, which you didn't do your job. So much, that's why I'm saying either way, it's this bad, but at the end of the day, it's going to fall on the dad, in my opinion, because you are the one that's responsible for him. Now he's a grown man with these issues because there's something that was missing, and you being in control of that something, that's on you. This is your handiwork. That's why I say it's always your kid's a reflection on what you did or didn't do. They're going to make their own choices, but for him to put you on blast like that, where he get that from or where he didn't get that from, but you might have been, so it could have been like, as much as Kirk puts into his music and all that, you probably maybe should have put just as much into your family so when your son get older, he don't feel like you've abandoned him or, you know what I mean? Whatever it is. But yeah, it's an L for him.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
No, I agree. No, that is fair. You're right.
That's how I be thinking about my son. I'd be like, man, he does something kind of goofy. I'd be mad, but I'm like, well, he's only doing. Maybe I didn't talk to him about that part, or maybe I wasn't paying attention to something, or, did I give him enough values, or did I stress certain things, or how to move? And I have to, have some responsibility in that too, because he is my responsibility. So I can be mad at him, but I have to look at my role in it as well as I'm his daddy. So there is some accountability, but I hope their family gets it together. Who wants their son to be putting them on blast for something like that? And it's just not a good look. The whole family is stressed out, I would imagine.
Yes, indeed.
I was listening to Tyreek. He was talking about, and he started posting up these pictures. If you do a Google search on Kirk Franklin and Billy Graham, he'd be like,
damn, yeah, that was Tariq. I was like, oh,
what the hell were you doing? There's multiple pictures like kissing his hand and stop it. But that's something else. I see they got, we're not gonna get it. I see they got Little Mama in the hot seat. Over something about anti-LGBTQ comments or something.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and be that guy. Who was Little Mama?
Was she a rapper or something?
Yeah, she was a rapper best known for like Lipstick is Popping, and then
she's best known for bum rushing the stage when
I was getting there.
Oh, okay,
but she's probably more well known for jumping on stage with Jay-Z and Alicia Keys at the MTV VMAs when they were performing Empire State of Mind.
And they was like, who is this bitch? Like, what are you doing?
Nah, they knew who she was. It was just like, what you doing?
Right. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, she said that it just moved her. She just had to be a part of it. I was like, but did you?
And she's also the one that Charlamagne made cry, which I thought was a bitch move on his part.
I forgot.
She was on the Breakfast Club, and he was going in on her or something. She started crying. That was cool.
Yeah. But sadly, it is what it is. to me in this day and age, especially as Black people, I feel like, why do you want the smoke dealing with the LGBTQ community, going publicly with some of the stuff? The tide is changing, where there is acceptance of these people, of who they are and who they're loving. And to me, what are you going to gain out of supposedly trying to say being trans isn't the way, or dealing with certain people, how they handle their children, and letting them move towards transitioning? I just don't see it as a win-win to try to fight against it.
Yeah, what was she talking about?
She posted someone else's meme, or I just say post image, that said that, children at 18, I think it was certain things that you can't do. You can't drink, you can't vote. Teenagers can't drink, can't vote, can't smoke weed, can't get loans or some other stuff, but they can mutilate their genitalia and say that they're transitioning. And I just was like, really?
No, wait, I'm sorry. Wait. Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
It was a text image that said that teenagers can't drive, and I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember all of them, but let's say you can't drive, you can't drink, you can't get, all the things that a teenager can't do, but they can mutilate their genitalia, chop them off, and transition to the opposite sex. And I'm just looking at it like, are you serious? That's how you're going to choose to talk about this subject? I was just like, I'm like, you on your own. Hold your own nuts. Sorry.
Interesting. Is that true?
Which part?
That they can do that. Chop your genitalia.
If the parent allows it, because when you're a minor, your rights go so far. But
gotcha.
If the parents co-sign it, yeah.
Oh, okay, well, I mean, if the parents agree to it. Interesting. Man, that's some wild stuff, ain't it? Woo! They got a lot to deal with these days, because that would have been the furthest thing from my mind, but I guess. Power to the people. Yeah, it's just like I say when you're talking about Jewish community, freedom of speech, just watch what you say.
Here's it specifically. It says, so children are too young to smoke cigarettes, too young to drink alcohol, too young to get a driver's license, too young to go to a club, too young to gamble, too young to rent a car, but old enough to cut off their genitals and or change their gender. This is insanity. #America. My thing was, yeah, if you're going to try to talk about this, why that? That was stupid. Some things are above your pay grade.
Yeah, like I say, man, freedom of speech. Just watch what you say. If you're on the chessboard, understand your moves. Think a couple moves ahead before you make a move. So what could be the ramifications if I do this move? And if it ain't working, you don't do it.
And maybe there is a valid conversation behind, children transitioning and, going operations to transition to the opposite sex. Mm-hmm. But you're not quoting any reputable person. You just saw something on the internet. It's like, yeah, this sums up exactly how I feel. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's freedom of speech. You just got to deal with the consequences. It's the only blanket thing I can say about it. I just was like, hey, whatever the topic is, I just want that same stance when it comes to us. That's all. It's like, yeah, you're not qualified to speak on it, or if you say something, it's going to be a lot of smoke. So I just want that same kind of value system. I think it's dope. It make everybody pause on what they say, even if you think you're right. We're still coming with that smoke. So I love it.
And nobody's trying to, in my opinion, no one's trying to silence her. This isn't a censorship or First Amendment thing. This is you're saying a stupid ass, shitty thing.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, this is for a lot of things these days. You say something out of pocket, you're going to get some pushback. no matter what topic you're talking about, if you talk too crazy, they're coming for you, good or bad. It is what it is. So
even if you said it 20 years ago, it's going to come back, especially these days.
Then there was some kind of, I saw the headline. It was the Teen Vogue editor or something.
Yeah.
She lost her job or something. She said something a long time ago about Asians or something like that. Or there you go. They're coming for your shit. If we get too big, I'm sure they're gonna be like, man, they said this back in the day. Like, damn it, they got me.
And the thing is, though, I think a lot of times it's easy for me to say because I'm not in that type of spotlight. But if you say something back in the day that could be considered, let's just say, questionable, and somebody challenges you on it now, you just own it. So, you know what? I wasn't thinking back then. I was wrong. Keep it moving. A lot of people
depends on what you said, though.
Well, yeah. If you say something like real stupid, oh well.
You can own it, but you be owning that other job.
Own that another job, exactly.
I said it.
Yeah, apparently.
What about it? Oh God.
When she was a 17-year-old freshman at the University of Chicago, she tweeted, which right there, why are you tweeting offensive stuff in the public sphere?
Shit. Yeah.
About Asians. And of course, she picked the wrong week for that to get brought to light.
Yeah. So the tides change. This is where we at.
Mike has said this before, and I'll reiterate it. If you think you said something offensive, now is the time to go to your Twitter, Facebook, even Instagram, and do a search and delete.
Yep. Shit, it might even be just beneficial to just delete your shit. Just start over.
And start over. Yes.
Just start over. Just for good, just for good measure. Fuck it. You want to play around.
Yeah, I no lie, I've gone through my Twitter. It's like I'm putting Ampu nigga. Oh, okay, let me delete.
Yep.
Ampu nigger.
Clean it up.
Woo!
Clean it up. Yeah. That should be a whole business. They probably already have that where they start, hire us and we'll go through and flush your social media.
Actually, that's a good idea. You think about it. Go back and sanitize your shit. Yeah.
Yep. Get rid of all that shit.
I'd be like $50,000 to do that. I'm like, you can do it if you want, but I don't think you want to. So just pay me.
Well, yeah. Especially who you're dealing with, if they're big time, like, listen, this 50,000 or your career, which one is it?
Right.
Go ahead.
And now we have an extra 100,000 plus premium special where we make sure it's deleted completely, like none of that archive.com type thing. Right. They ain't gonna find nothing.
Wow. Yeah, man. So very interesting times. Any other little story of note?
Well, on that vein, the guy who was hosting the Bachelor or Bachelorette apparently had said something on Twitter 100 years ago, came out, got in front of it, stepped away from the show for a bit.
I'm not
Got to do it.
Okay.
And that opens up the door for my guy, Emmanuel Acho from Fox Sports 1 to step in as the host for the last portion of it.
Okay. All righty.
If you did it, it's going to come out. The bigger you get, the more likely it's going to come out. Bottom line.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, I think that's where we'll call it here. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We did Falcon Winter Soldier,
Yay!
Justice League, some other movie recommendations. So there you go. There's a lot going on. We'll just say what a great time to be a fan of comic book movies and stuff like that. I mean, man, we're getting great content back to back. Gotta love it. We still got, what do we got real quick? What else is coming this year? Invincible's coming. When is that coming out?
Next week.
Oh shit. Okay. I'm here for it. I think, isn't the Godzilla Kong next week or something?
Godzilla Kong, Mortal Kombat was announced.
So there's a lot of great stuff coming out.
Eventually, Black Widow will come out at some point, hopefully.
Yeah. They need to just shit. They might just put that shit on streaming.
Let's put it out, man. Damn.
At this point. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, work it like a job. We'll see you next time. Peace.